What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Jared Speaks, episode 18. Grateful to be here. Grateful you are here. 18 episodes in, and this show is becoming something I did not fully see coming when I sat down to record that first episode. The messages keep coming in, the stories people are sharing, the people saying they feel less alone because of something said in this show. That means everything. Thank you. Now, today, I want to do something a little different, a little lighter, a little more fun. Today, I'm opening up my own personal paranormal files. I've done episodes on sleep paralysis. I have done episodes on the third eye. I've done episodes on shadow work where I mention some things briefly. And if you've been listening since the beginning, you already know I've had some experiences that do not fit nearly into any logical explanation. Because I've never done a full episode where I just lay out all of my personal unexplained experiences from start to finish. The things I have seen, the things that I have felt, the things that happen where my only honest answer is I do not know what that was. Tonight, that changes. These are my personal paranormal files, and I want you to hear some of the most darkest moments that I have had to go through. And I want to hear yours too. So stay with me until the end because I'm going to ask you to share something. Let's go. Before I get into it, I want to say something real quick about the word paranormal. Most people hear it and immediately picture horror movies or people in ghost hunting shows yelling at cameras and dark alleyways and dark hallways. That is not what this is. Paranormal just means beyond what you can currently explain by science or normal experience. It does not mean fake. It does not mean dangerous. It does not mean you're losing your mind. It just means something happened that does not have a clean category yet. I've had experiences throughout my life that fall into that space. Things I cannot fully explain. Things that stayed with me. And I think a lot of people had similar experiences and never said them out loud because they were afraid of being dismissed or laughed at. This is a safe place to say them out loud, starting with mine. I want to say real quick, I've already done a full episode on sleep paralysis, which is episode 4. And the third eye experience I had is the anchor of episode 5. So if you've not heard those, go back and listen. Today, I'm covering the other stuff. The things that have not had their own episode yet. Let's start with the shadow people. Let me start with something that has been a part of my life for so long that I honestly cannot remember when it began. Shadow people. If you do not know what that means, let me try to describe it. You're going about your day, walking through a room, sitting at your desk, doing something completely ordinary, and in your peripheral vision, you catch something, a dark shape, human in form, just at the edge of where your eyes can see. And the moment you turn to look directly at it, it's gone. Nothing there. Just the wall or the doorway or whatever was behind it. That has been happening to me for years. I could not even tell you when it started because it's been long enough that it just became a part of my normal experience in the world. Not something I panic about, just something I notice. It says 12:12 the time right now, by the way. And it is almost always in the peripheral. I did say almost. The far edge of my vision. There was one time that it was close, but we'll get into that later. Never directly in front of me, just there at the corner and then gone. Now, I want to be careful here because I'm not going to tell you what shadow people are. Nobody fully knows. There are theories like spirits, beings from another dimension, residual energy, the brain generating a figure in response to something it cannot process through normal channels. All of those explanations exist, and none of them have been definitively proven or disproven. What I know is what I see. And what I see has been consistent for long enough that I stopped dismissing it a long time ago. Now, here's where it gets more specific. Because not long ago, something happened to me that was completely different from the shadow people I usually see. I was sitting at my desk, just at my desk doing normal things, and I became aware of something standing to my right. It was about 3 or 4 feet away, almost within arm's reach. And this was not a shadow figure. This was translucent. It was see through. It was shaped like a person, but not solid. It wasn't dark. And all around it, around the edges of the shape, there was this shimmer. The best way I can describe it is like the surface of a soap bubble. The iridescent rainbow quality that shifts and changes depending on the angle you look at it. Some people call that kind of paint or finish iridescent. The color shifting effect. That is what surrounded this figure. And it was close, 3 feet. That is close enough to reach out and almost touch. So it was probably around 4 feet to my right. Completely different from the distant peripheral figures I'd seen before, excuse me. When I closed my eyes, I could still see it. Like I hit a pause button on the image. It was just there when I closed my eyes. Just that image, the translucent, shimmering shape standing right next to my desk. Now, I want to point something out about this. Shadow people are dark. They are the absence of light. What I saw that day was the opposite. It was made of light, iridescent, almost like something was barely visible because it existed at a frequency slightly different from what my eye is designed to see. I do not know what that was. I've never seen anything like it before or since. But I know what I saw. And I know it didn't feel threatening. It just felt present. Like something was there that wanted to be noticed. This one I have not shared on the show before, and I think it belongs in this episode. I had a dream, and I could not tell you exactly when, whether it was weeks or months or years before what I'm about to describe. But in this dream, I was at my grandpa's house. And I looked up at the sky, and there was a meteor. Looked like a spherical ball of fire moving through the sky above me. I watched it fly over right above the tree line. I remember the image of it clearly. That burning fear just cutting across the sky. I didn't think much of it at the time because some of my dreams can be strange. You see things, you move on. And then at some point after that dream, I saw footage. I saw news footage. A meteor flying over Russia in 2013. A fireball in the sky that was caught on dozens of dash cameras because in Russia, almost everybody drives with one. A meteor that created a sonic boom so powerful enough to shatter windows across a wide area. And I watched that footage and something went cold in me because that was what I saw in my dream. Not exactly identical, but close enough, it stopped me. A ball of fire moving through the sky. Shape of it, the way it moved. Now, I cannot prove that I dreamed it before I saw the footage. Memories reconstructed, and we talked about that extensively on this show. It is possible that I saw the footage of the event and memory of the dream shifted to incorporate what I saw. But it's also possible that I dreamed something before it happened. I do not know which one is true. I'm not going to pretend I do because it's one of those experiences that lives in the file labeled I do not have a clean explanation for this one. This one is something I shared briefly in the synchronicities episode, but I want to go deeper on it because I think it belongs here. My son Caden had been out for part of the day. He was not home, and I was inside getting ready for something when I heard the door. Clear as anything, unmistakable. The sound of the door, the way it sounds when someone is coming home. I could hear Caden, as he usually does when he gets home, running through the house. I got up to check, to greet him at the door. Nobody was there. No Caden. The doorway was empty. I went back inside and started telling someone what had just happened. And right in the middle of telling that story, I heard the door again. And this time it was real. It was Mom bringing him back home. Caden walking through the door. I heard him arriving before he was there. Now, how is that? Is that the brain picking up on something? A sound from outside? A vibration? Something subliminal that registered before the full event happened? Is it some sort of awareness that exists slightly ahead of the physical moment? Is it something else entirely? I genuinely do not know. But it happened. And the timing was too specific to just brush off. This one happened literally within a couple of days, and I'm still sitting with it. I heard a barred owl outside. I was sitting in my backyard near the trees at the end of my property. That deep, hollow call that carries in the air. And when I went into this quiet state, this stillness, and something about the sound took me back to my grandpa's house growing up, the woods near his property. Hearing that same sound as a kid without knowing what it was. The next day, I took all three of my boys outside. We walked to the end of the yard where the trees are, and I said, just listen, boys. Just stop and listen to the birds. As soon as we went quiet, I heard it. A barred owl. Off in one direction. And then I started hearing it call more frequently and thought, is there more than one? And then I picked up a second one. Same general direction, but distinct, two of them, calling back and forth. And then, from the completely opposite direction, and a totally different wood line, I heard a third one. 3 owls, 3 boys. Now, the rational part of my brain says this is a coincidence. You know, barred owls are active in evenings in June. 2 owls in the same territory isn't unusual because they pair up. A third in another direction is just another owl in its own territory. But the other part of me, the part that has been paying attention to patterns and signals, and the things that line up in ways that feel too specific. That part just stopped and felt something. A moment that felt like the world acknowledging what was happening. Three boys, three owls. Their dad telling them to be quiet and listen, and nature answering. Whether it was meaningful or just beautiful, I think it was both. And I think the noticing is the whole point. The owls were probably there the day before and the week before, but I was not still enough to hear them. I want to close this out the way I close out everything on this show. Honestly, without pretending, I have more answers than I do. Do I believe I have seen shadow people? Yes. Whether, whatever they are, I have seen them consistently for years. Do I believe that iridescent figure was something real and not just my eyes playing tricks? Yes. The clarity of it, the closeness of it, the fact that I could still see it when I closed my eyes. Something was there. Do I believe I might have dreamed about a meteor before it happened? I hold that one more loosely, but I don't dismiss it. Do I believe I heard my son before he arrived? Yes. Something registered before the physical event. Do I believe three owls calling when I brought my three boys outside meant something? I believe it was a beautiful moment that deserved to be noticed. Whether it was the universe winking or just nature doing what nature does. The meaning I took from it was real either way. Here's what I know for certain: the world is stranger and deeper and more connected than most of us walk around believing on a daily basis. And the moments that crack that open, the shadow at the edge of your vision, the dream that comes true, the sound you hear before it happens, the owls answering your silence, those moments are invitations. Invitations to pay attention, to stay curious, to hold the question a little longer instead of rushing to an explanation. That is all I am trying to do. Stay curious, keep the file open. Now, I want to hear from you. What is in your personal paranormal file? Was it one experience you've never been able to fully explain? The thing you saw or felt or heard that does not have a clean category? The moment that stayed with you for years because it never fully resolved into something logical? Drop it in the comments. I read everything. And I think more people are carrying unexplained experiences than ever say them out loud. This is your chance to say it. That is episode 18, everybody. This one was fun to record, and I hope it was fun to listen to. Not every episode has to go the deepest and darkest places. Sometimes you just gotta open the file and lay it out and let people sit with it. If today connected with you, please share it and hit that follow button wherever you're listening, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, YouTube. Leave a rating if you can as well. 10 seconds and it makes a real difference. New episode tomorrow. Stay curious, take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you then.